Stop sharing, please. This is the screen that you'll see when you are getting ready to present. And here we are back again. So with that, let me talk to you a little bit more about recording videos. We do have a small group here today. A couple more are scheduled to join us, but we're just going to head. This will get in progress. And again, please feel free to ask anything. If this is stuff you know, we'll go through it kind of quickly. But if you have questions, ask me. So recording and posting videos using Google Meet video lessons. There are several other tools out there that you can post videos with, but this one does have the safety, security, student privacy issues. So if students are going to be in your videos, and if you're doing live video interaction with students and you want to record that, this is probably the best tool available. You can make a recording as long as your district allows it and that you are a teacher. So in other words, students will not see the option to do a recording when they log into meetings. Only teachers will have that option. You can have students in a recording, but you have to set it up. You have to give the student the code, and you have to be logged in while the students are recording that. So that's one of the things they go, I was like, oh, students, here, go ahead. Use this to record yourself. It's easy to use. And they don't have that option. If students are going to be making recordings themselves, you may want to take a look at some of the other options that are out there, like the free version of NWOET Video. And we can talk more about that a little bit later on if you have questions about it, or even do another session on that. So, but you're a teacher and your district allows recording, so you will have that record option like we just showed a couple minutes ago. But how do I get started? This is not very intuitive. This is something that, you know, it took me a long time to figure out. If I want to do a recording using Google, and if I want to record a meeting in Google, the first thing I have to do is schedule a meeting in my Google Calendar. It's like, that doesn't make sense. I want to do a recording and I go to calendar. With Google Meet, that's how it works. You go to your calendar, you create a new event. This particular event, I know you probably can't read it very well, but I'm calling it my Science 9/14/2020 What Are Germs video lesson. So I make an event that's the title is going to work well as the title of my video. So I'm almost always going to put a date in there if it's a video lesson. And then I create it. I say what time it's going to be, 9:15 to 9:30. And I add Google Meet. That's, again, what that yellow arrow is pointing at is the blue box where it lets me add Google Meet video conferencing. After I click that, you'll get a code exactly like the code you use to log into our meeting today. meet.google.com/J/123-5-6, whatever that code might be. You'll have that code. You give that code to your students or other teachers who you want to have together at that particular time, and then they can log in. Now, specifically, how do I start recording? And you just saw this. We go to the three-dot menu down at the bottom. We go up to record meeting, and we click record meeting. And when we're done, we click stop recording. That's all there is to it. Whatever you're seeing on your screen as people are presenting, the person presenting is what's going to be recorded. Again, whoever's presenting is what's going to be recorded. And when you hit stop recording, that creates a separate video file. Now, sometimes you might talk to your students for longer than you want videos. So depending on the age of students, having a video that's 5 minutes long, at the very most 15 minutes long, is what you're going to want. But maybe I'm going to do a longer lesson. So I want to break that up into 3 separate pieces. So I'm, my science example here, I'm going to do science video recording. What are germs? That's going to be my first video. And I'm only going to make that 5 minutes long. So I hit start recording. I do my thing on what are germs. I hit stop recording. And now I move to part 2 of my lesson. How do I wash germs off my hand? I hit start recording. I do my lesson. I hit stop recording. That's a separate file. And now I go to the third part, and I say, this part's going to be, how do I sanitize my desk? How do I make sure there are no germs on my desk? So I go in, hit start recording, explain how to get germs off your desk, stop recording. And so even though it was one meeting that I scheduled in calendar, I'll have 3 separate videos. There is no way to pause the video. So if something happens, the phone goes off, whatever, and you want to stop recording, you can do that, but that is going to be its own separate video. There's no way through Google you can put that back together. There are other video editing tools that will let you put together videos, but not in Google. Every time you hit start recording, it makes a file until you say stop. Now, this is where I really do like Google Meet for this next feature. When you hit stop recording, it will automatically process the video and then send you an email with the name of the video. And that video has already automatically been stored for you in your Google Drive. So that part is nice. All I do is start recording, do whatever, stop recording, and the video is automatically going to be ready for me in my Google Drive. It's put in a folder that it automatically makes for me called Meet Recordings, and it's ready to go. So that part is the simplest I've ever seen of any video recording system that's out there. Is just automatically. I get the email notification and it's automatically in my Google Drive. This does take a few minutes. So when you stop recording, so rendering, please, on the notes there. When you stop recording, make sure you don't immediately shut your computer down or put it to sleep, because it does take your computer 2 or 3 minutes to get that video processed or rendered and sent to the Google Drive. And what you can find is if, oh my gosh, it's the end of the day, I got to finish up, quick, stop recording, I shut the lid, and you'll find out that either you'll only have a partial recording or maybe no recording at all. So take that extra 2 or 3 minutes, use a clock, time it. That's usually all it takes, unless your video is exceptionally long. But for anything we're doing in the 5, 10, 15, even 20 to 30 minute range, leave your computer run for about 2 or 3 minutes after you stop recording to make sure that video has been processed and sent to the Google Drive. Once it's in Google Drive, this part also is really powerful. You can post it as a link in Google Classroom, and students can use that as an assignment. They can use that. You can send that link to students or anybody else by email. If you're doing a document, maybe you're doing a worksheet, and you want students to look at a little video and then answer questions from it. You can just put that link right in the middle of the worksheet, look at this video, and then answer these questions. That's a feature I really like using. I think it's a really interesting assessment feature, and one that you'll see sometimes in the Ohio Department of Education and other standardized testing formats as well. So again, really easy to take that link, make a short video clip, and then have students answer questions on that, whether it's an at-home assignment, so long as they have internet access. What if they don't have internet access? And I think, heard this before, then it can be downloaded onto a flash drive. Very easy to do, something students can do. You can click on it and just download it to your computer or to a flash drive. If the students are in class and they're going to have the device that they're going to have at home with them, just download it to the Chromebook. There it is. Even if they have no internet access at home, they will have the video there for them to watch. So again, some really nice features about Google Meet. In terms of flexibility and recording different things and switching camera angles and all that, Google Meet, not so hot. Fantastic when it comes to make sure student safety, security, and privacy, and also a fantastic tool when it comes to it's really easy to share this video and use this video in a variety of different places, most especially in your Google Classroom. Now, if your video isn't quite so perfect, before you're finished with it, you can take it and edit it. WeVideo, I mentioned. WeVideo is great. It's super easy to use. But for anything over 5 minutes, it costs about $10 a month. So that is something you have to pay for. Clipchamp, I haven't used that. I've seen it a couple of times. It's not bad. It's an option you might want to think about. Screencastify and some others are probably better options if you're going to be looking at doing some editing with video. Personally, if I'm going to edit a video, I use Adobe Premiere. To me, it's worth the $20 a month, and I'm personally paying that. It's you know, your district may or may not pay that for you, but to me, it's worth $20 a month to have all the powerful features of Adobe Premiere video editing. I will say Adobe Premiere is not easy to learn. It's not easy to use. It's very, very powerful. It's really more than almost anybody's going to need. What
Angie is shaking.
Angie,
no, I did a video for certification, and I had to give it to Dell because I couldn't figure out Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
And she honestly spent 8 hours putting together 8 video clips with Premiere to make it all. It's really super high tech. The final product's awesome, but you got to have time.
Yeah. I would not recommend it unless you're doing a lot with video. I really would not recommend it. But if you do a lot, it's very good. And so the in-between choice for me would probably be the paid version of WeVideo. It's pretty powerful. It's really pretty easy to use. And in the paid version, can do almost anything you want. So that's my. Anybody else use a version of video editing that you liked or didn't like? You'd like to share about? Talk to me a little bit. You mentioned Screencastify. Tell me a little bit about, did you do some editing with it, or did you just do those like single takes?
I just did single takes and then would do a retake. So now that I, you know, if I do use video more, I probably mess around with it because I thought Adobe Premiere would be easier. And my daughter has it on her computer. She did it as a middle screen program, and she's like, "Oh, Mom, you're crazy." So
yeah.
But I like Screencastify because, again, it keeps it to 15 minutes and kids aren't going to watch more than that. 15
minutes is all you need. Absolutely. You don't want to make any one video longer than that. And if you're video editing, I don't want them longer than that either if I don't absolutely have to, because it just, you know, the complications and the time it takes rebound. Okay, so here's a couple more just bits of information. Best practice recommendations. When the video is saved to your Google Drive, and when you're sent that email link of your video, it's going to have a name associated with it. But that name is probably not going to, name please, Susan. That name is probably not going to, no, for your list.
Oh.
Thank you. That name is probably not going to match your lesson. So you want to be pretty diligent about renaming these videos. So when the student sees the video, if this is a video intended as a video lesson to be used in instruction, rename the video so it matches your lesson plan perfectly. So I would rename my video if I'm doing my science 9/14/2020, what are germs? And it didn't come out exactly like that when Google named it. I would go to my Google Drive, click the 3 dots on Drive, go down there, click rename, and then rename the video exactly like it is for this lesson. Say, well, man, I'm going to maybe reuse this video later in the year. No problem. You can make a copy. You can have the same video with several different names. So again, I strongly encourage you, rename your video. Unless you're lucky or extremely careful, it won't come out as a name that's easily understood by your students. And again, I always say best practice, make sure the name of your video matches the name and the date of the lesson that you're preparing. Think about your videos too. Again, this is a little bit advanced. I mean, we always think about our lessons and we say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do that. But when you're making a video, it's kind of important to, you know, think a little bit in advance about how you're going to structure your lesson and to have some of the other resources that you're going to use or that you maybe hold up, or that sheet where you're going to be writing the mathematics equations. You want to have all those materials ready. You want to know how you're going to hold that in front of the camera, whether you're going to swing the camera and point it at a clipboard or at your whiteboard on the wall, or whatever method you're going to use to show different objects. When you're working with kids, you don't always want the exact same picture in front of them all of the time. Me, I've been focusing right now on the slides that are on the screen, but you see here gesturing with my hands and everything too. And that's good. Again, you want to have a visually interesting, visually exciting, not that I'm visually exciting, but something that is going to help capture the student's attention, and something where you can point to the key objects. So maybe do a storyboard like the storyboard you see here. Now this video and slideshow that you're watching right now is available for download so you can see more clearly. But I want to sketch out, either with just a pen and paper or by putting images. I want to sketch out the beginning, middle, and end of my lesson. Working from slides, you see me do it in everything that I'm instructing. I almost always have a slide set. It does a couple things. It provides a way for students to review the information, even if I don't make a video. And it provides a way to guide me in my instruction without using note cards. And it allows me to do some, visual highlighting as well, like this, where you say, here's a yellow arrow. It's pointing to the most critical information. When I was talking about before you join the meeting, set your video resolution, you probably won't exactly remember that. Roger said do something before I start the meeting, or before I start recording. But what was it he was supposed to do? Well, here it is, and it shows you exactly what menu it is you're supposed to be looking at. You still might have a little bit of trouble finding it, but at least you could ask another teacher or call or text me and say, hey, Roger, you showed a slide where there's a tab for audio and a tab for video. How do I find that? And you would know exactly what it is we're talking about, because you would have this slides to refer to. So again, I encourage you, think about slides or some other visual organizer to help you and the students know what's in this video. Again, if you don't want to do slides, you may want to do a visual organizer like this, both for yourself and for the students as a handout. It's something that makes your video instruction really much more effective. It gives the students a real help and assistance as they go to review what your content for today is. In this particular example here, you see I've got some images, and I have some space below the images where I could actually write or computer enter a short description of, hey, this is what this illustrates, or this is what you're supposed to see, or look at page 52 in your textbook. This would actually be something that I might send home as a handout. So along with the video, here's a handout showing key slides or key sections of this video you want to pay attention to. Videos all by themselves. We just give it to a student. We say, watch this video. Even a very, very well prepared video, like this one, say, doesn't help learning very much without resources to go along with it, without a little bit of preparation before they see the video, and definitely some follow-up afterwards. So for any of the videos that you've been looking at from NWOET or other places, the real value is going to come if you take the time to get the resources that go along with the video. Take the time to get the slide presentation and review that slide presentation, even if you don't want to take the time to look at the video. That's another reason I like slides or a handout sheet like this. The student knows they've got to take some extra time. They know they maybe missed some information, or they're going to be tested on some information, but they just don't have time to look at the 8 different videos that are going to be covered on this test Thursday when we're face-to-face in the classroom. Well, they will have time to look through those handouts that summarize the video information, that reinforce the key points. So again, videos by themselves are not all that powerful. A video combined with another resource to help the student know what's important. In the case of what you're watching today, a video combined with the slide presentation, that's when the learning really occurs, and you can help turn watching into understanding, integrating, and producing. I already talked to you about the at-home videos. So recording and posting videos using Google Meet lessons, 888-EdTech8. This resource and all of the things and many more that we've been talking about are at www.nwOET.org. Now, this is the formal slide presentation, conclusion of it. Oh, /COVID-19, www.nwOET.org/COVID-19. A couple other things I want to talk about. This is probably the second most important thing I've mentioned today. First most important was, how do I start recording? Well, you've got to, you create your Google Meet, go down to those three dots and click record. And really, it took me a while to get that figured out, that I had to do a calendar event before I could have a meeting to record. Whether anybody else is there or not, I can do a Google Meet with just me and then record it. That still works. But I've still got to go into my calendar, create the event on my calendar, start the meeting with my code, and click record. So that, without that, nothing else is going to happen. Second most important thing. All right, show of hands here. How many think the video is the most important part of what we've talked about today? Or is it audio, what you can hear? For students learning, what's going to be more important? The visual images that you're seeing, the information, the slides, or what the person says? How many think that it's going to be video? Raise your hand.
I'm an art teacher. You better raise your hand. Oh.
How many think it's the audio? Okay, audio is right. And most people don't think that. Most people don't think that. If you have to have high quality in only one of the two areas, audio or video, the most important area to have the high quality is audio. Students will watch a video even if the quality is pretty bad. Take a look at some of the stuff we're seeing on TV these days. Cell phone videos, blurry videos, things where the camera's jerking around. If you see those videos on TV, pay close attention. And every single time there's a video that doesn't look very good, what you will hear is perfect. You will hear very clear. You'll hear very limited or no background noise. Now, I'm not talking about a reporter in the middle of a riot or something, but in general, when you hear something on television, when you see something on television, they spend a lot of time to make sure the audio quality is good. The video, they'll still show it, especially if something on the video is interesting, and people will still watch it if it's something that's interesting, even if it's a little bit fuzzy, a little bit dark, a little bit off center, maybe a little bit jerky and moving around, people still watch it. But if they can't hear it, if someone is speaking and they cannot clearly hear the presenter, if they cannot hear the person speaking, the viewer will very quickly go do something different. They lose interest. Audio is extremely important. So I encourage you, whatever device you're using, it almost guarantees, all laptops, iPads, even your cell phone has in it or an adapter so you can plug in a microphone. So I encourage you to get a little microphone. You can get them for about $3 at the dollar store. That's going to be better quality than you get in the microphone on your computer or the microphone on your iPad or cell phone. If I'm going to be doing a lot of video, I'm probably going to spend $10 to $15 to get one that clips on. Clip it on your blouse or wherever, so it's right there, only about 6 inches from your mouth. The ideal location for a microphone is about 6 inches from your mouth, because that way you can avoid some of the background noise, the kids moving chairs, the dog barking, and so forth. That'll become less noticeable, and your voice will become more noticeable. It will be the predominant sound. Even if there's a thunderstorm going on in the background, we hope not. But if there is, if you've got that microphone close to your lips, that's what they're going to hear. Another option is a headset. Do we have a headset over there? I think. Putting a headset on, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You'll see, famous singers who make millions of dollars every concert. will be up there on stage wearing a headset. You know, they might have it hidden behind their hair or whatever, with the little microphone sticking out to the side. And again, these are available, really pretty good quality ones for $10 to $20. You'll see these sold for $50, $80, hundreds of dollars for what you're doing and the kind of videos we're talking here. Really, the $20 version is going to do just as good as the $280 version in almost every respect. So a headset is another great choice. It will limit your motion a little bit. You know, you'll have to stay within the distance of the cord. Cord extenders are available. They cost like $5, but then you still have to worry about the cord following you around. It's kind of like a corded vacuum sweeper or something. You got to make sure you don't get too far away. Wireless versions of these are about good quality ones. Ones that are good enough for what we're talking about here are around $100 to $150. So I don't necessarily recommend wireless versions. I know some people have done some things with Bluetooth versions, and there are some ways that you can, you know, do wireless ones using the microphones that may have come with your cell phone and so forth. Those are options out there. They work, but they're not great. They have their own set of problems. But so having a microphone, if you're going to be within 5 or 10 feet of the computer or whatever is recording your video, use a microphone. I personally prefer the clip-on ones. You might prefer a headset one. Either way is going to be fine. The headset is especially helpful if you are live with your students and you want to hear what they're saying while you are still recording your own voice. Then the headset can be an excellent choice. And last but not least, video cameras. So this is a little bit fancy model. This is about a $450 video camera. You absolutely do not need one of these. The camera that I'm using right now, used for almost all my video work, was about a $60 video camera. The video cameras that you use need to have a USB outlet, the USB like you have in your computer or in your Chromebook even. That USB port, if the camera has a USB out on it, and many low-cost video cameras do. The least expensive ones of them actually are available for around $20 to $30 at Walmart. This camera that I'm using right now was about a $60 camera at Walmart, and really, it does almost anything I would want it to do. So you don't need a lot of expensive equipment. And while I don't do it in this presentation, the camera that we're using right now easily could be swung around, you know, focused close up on a worksheet, pointed over at the board, whatever I might want to do with that. So number one is audio quality. Make sure that you pay attention to the microphone. Try not to use the microphone on the laptop. You'll get a lot better quality if you can plug in the microphone. And again, headset, if you want to speak and be recorded at the same time you're listening to your students. With that, do you have any questions?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Did we cover what you signed up for this session today to find out about?
Yeah, it's nice to know that the file automatically saves and goes into that file and can be embedded into documents. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is just super nice. And that's something you can do it with other types of recording, but there's several more steps involved. And this just, it works so seamlessly. It's really a super easy way of you know, you can email it, you can put it straight into the Google assignment, the Google Classroom assignment. That's one thing I really like about it, is how easily it goes into the assignment. And then the students are almost guaranteed the ability to get that into the assignment, you know, to be able to watch it. And it's also super easy for them to download it to their Chromebook if they need to download resources at school and then use them at home. If you've got that link in the Google assignment, that process is really easy as well. Where with other types of videos, you can still do it, but there's more steps. It's not as easy, and frankly, it's not as reliable either. So. Well, I won't keep you. I'll hang out here for a few more minutes. If you have other questions, we're going to head and stop recording right now. And appreciate you for joining me. You know,